I want to welcome every one of us to Cisco Africa Academy. My name is Oluwuyolu Atomisin, the principal of Cisco Africa Academy. And I want to say thank you for coming around this evening for another wonderful time. Last month, we had a great section with Jennifer Uyilade, and this is just like a build-up or a continuation of what has been said by another speaker, and looking at it at different facets for us. And you can check that out on our YouTube channel, which is Cisco Africa. So this evening, we have the privilege of having among us Femi Emmanuel, and he'll be talking about leveraging as a business professional or entrepreneur. As we know that as a businessman or as an entrepreneur, you need to leverage some things and you need to know some things. So leverage is something that is key. Atala said, life is based on leverage. The more you know how to leverage into life, the more successful you will become. That is, the more you know how to leverage, the more successful you will become. This is what most people have used. This is what most people have capitalized on. Robert Kiyosaki said that leverage is what makes people become rich, and it's also what makes people become not rich. So it depends on how you are able to use it effectively. So this evening, we have the privilege of having Femi Emmanuel Mistos, who will be taking us on the course this evening. So briefly, I'll just go through his biography before he takes the platform. So Femi Emmanuel is a social analyst. He is a favorite for radio and TV programs. He's an avid reader, prolific writer, and also an artful lyricist. Is the author of Make Your Skills Pay Your Bills, which is one of the books for business professionals and also entrepreneurs so that you can be self-sustained. He's also the CEO of Cha-cha9ja Resources. I can say he's a man that wears so many hats. So, but he's here this evening to speak to us on leveraging as a business professional and also an entrepreneur. He also has so many awards to his name, to his accolades, based on leadership and merit. So it's a great pleasure to have our Mr. this evening, Mr. Femi Emmanuel, also known as Femi Cha-cha9ja. You're welcome, sir. Hello, Mr. Femi.
Hello, good evening. I don't know if everyone can hear me. Hello?
Yeah, hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Okay, good evening, my brother. I'm very glad to be here. And everyone, I don't know if anyone is listening, he or she can just put something up in the comment section so I can understand that we have quite a lot of people listening at the moment. It's a very big privilege to be here. My name is Femi Emmanuel. They call me Femi Cha-cha9ja, but I'm not here to talk about reasons why. I want to appreciate my brother for share one or two things with my friends and probably co-entrepreneurs. I love to think like there's no box. I wouldn't be saying that I love to think outside the box. I probably love to think like there's no box. So some of the things I may be sharing today may be quite odd. Looking at my so many years in entrepreneurship, I'll be sharing from practical and relatable experiences, leveraging, how to leverage as a business professional and as an entrepreneur, how to leverage. Very quickly, I want to make us understand that we are actually in the knowledge economy, and in the knowledge, the mistake so many entrepreneurs are making at the moment is that they still think we have 4 factors of production. You remember what we were told in economics, 4 factors of production, where you have land, labor, capital, and the entrepreneur. And then right now, according to economics, we're told that the entrepreneur is actually the person that is controlling the business. And whereas in the 21st century, the definition of entrepreneurship has changed. The definition of an entrepreneur has changed. So if you do not know who you are as an entrepreneur or as a business professional, then you will be struggling, or let me say, you'll be striving where you're supposed to be thriving. There's a difference between thriving and striving. And according to the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, you agree with me that 80% of entrepreneurs are striving, while only probably 20% are thriving. So permit me to start with what entrepreneurship is not. I want to use that as a foundation so that when I now talk about what to leverage on, we'll be on the same page. So what entrepreneurship is not. The first thing is that entrepreneur, I'll be saying probably 7 or 10 things entrepreneurship is not, but I'll be very brief and fast so that I can catch up with my other events for the day. Apologies to the organizer and my brother. I'll try to be very brief in all of my explanations, but I promise that I'll be willing to answer questions in case there is any need for clarification. Okay, let's get down straight to business. What entrepreneurship is not, or what a business or who a business professional is not. Number one, entrepreneurship is not skill acquisition. It's not. It's never skill acquisition. We have a challenge where, especially in Nigeria, where government does or private individuals do a lot of skill acquisition programs, and you find out that these people are only self-employed. They are not entrepreneurs. Maybe that helps me mention, that leads me to number two. Entrepreneurship is not self-employment. You see that bricklayer that once he get a call that probably from a contractor that he needs to be on site, he's there and he's earning money. And if he's not physically on site, then he's probably not earning money. That's not entrepreneurship. That's self-employment. So what we have is that a lot of people are moving from paid employment into self-employment, because they probably have a complimentary card and been registered with Corporate Affairs Commission in Nigeria, they think they are an entrepreneur. So if you don't understand who an entrepreneur is, then it's difficult to even talk about how to leverage in the first place. So very briefly, number one, entrepreneurship is not skill acquisition. Entrepreneurship is not self-employment. Now, I will shock you with this. Entrepreneurship is not product development. I know quite a lot of people that they're so sound in tech. They can build apps, applications. They have ideas that they're really good at product development. But honestly, that makes you a developer, a product developer. It does not make you an entrepreneur. So you will find out that there are a lot of people that have acquired skills that think they are entrepreneurs. There are a lot of people that are into self-employment that think they are entrepreneurs. There are a lot of people that are into product development that think they are entrepreneurs. And they are actually in this meeting thinking of here because they are puzzled on how to leverage to move to the next level. I'm here to shock you. You are actually not an entrepreneur. You are what you know at the moment. You are don't forget I said that we are in a knowledge-based economy. So you are a product of what you know at the moment. You have a skill, you are probably self-employed, you are probably a product developer, but all of this does not make you an entrepreneur. Let me move forward. Number four, entrepreneurship is not opening an office. Not even after the COVID, the pandemic, where everyone has probably been working from home. I'm shocked that some people will quit their jobs, and the first thing that comes to their mind is probably opening an office somewhere so that they can be tagged the CEO, earning 100% of nothing just because of the title of being a CEO or the accolade of being termed as an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is not opening an office. Entrepreneurship is not being on social media and having a very large followership. I'm shocked by quite a lot of young people that they seek validation, or their validation comes from the number of followers they have on social media. the number of friends they have on social media. And because they are quote unquote an influencer, they post something and quite a lot of people like and comment and share. They think, oh, because I earn from this, I'm an entrepreneur because that brings me cash. But I'm saddled with the business of announcing to you today that you are not an entrepreneur. You are just an influencer. That is what you are. That is who you are. You are not an entrepreneur. And if you don't know why or who an entrepreneur is, then there's no reason why you should even be thinking about leveraging in the first place. Permit me to talk about, I have close like 10 or 15 stuffs here that I've written about what an entrepreneur is not. But let me mention 7 so that we can save time and move into all we have to say today. Entrepreneurship is not buying and selling. Entrepreneurship is not buying and selling. You are a trader. You are not an entrepreneur. You are a trader. That you are into buying and selling makes you a trader, not an entrepreneur. So surprised I was, a few days ago, I was consulting for one organization that deals with quite a lot of importing of products and selling in the country. And the owner of the company was so proud of what they're doing, and he regards himself as an entrepreneur. I congratulated him and told him point blank that he's a trader. And he said, no, traders are those that own those roadside shops or roadside businesses, and they earn something small. And I asked him, those at the roadside, what do they engage in? He said buying and selling. Okay, what are you into? He said buying and selling. And I said point blank, that does not make you an entrepreneur. You are into buying and selling. So if you really want to leverage as an entrepreneur, then we should get it right. What exactly makes you an entrepreneur? I don't know how many I've been able to see at the moment. I think I've been able to talk about entrepreneurship is not skill acquisition. Entrepreneurship is not self-employment. Entrepreneurship is not product development. Entrepreneurship is not opening an office. Entrepreneurship is not a large social media following. Then the 6th one I've talked about is entrepreneurship has nothing to do with buying and selling. Okay, let me round up with the 7th one, then we'll move further. Let me say categorically that entrepreneurship is not having capital. Don't forget that we talked about, I started this presentation by mentioning the 4 factors of production, where we have the capital, land, labor, and the entrepreneur. But honestly, entrepreneurship is not having capital. There are quite a lot of people that, there's a difference. For those that understand entrepreneurship, they know that cash in the bank is different from cash flow. As an entrepreneur, cash flow is more important to you than cash at hand or cash in the bank. But those that are non-entrepreneurs, they define their worth from the perspective of cash in hand, or cash at hand rather, or cash in the bank. So having cash or having capital does not make you an entrepreneur. Let's be sincere. It does not for any reason make you an entrepreneur. Then I think the next question we should ask ourselves is, what then is entrepreneurship? What then is entrepreneurship? If all of what I've listed so far, and I still say that I have close like 15 of them, but we've been able to mention 7, then what then is entrepreneurship? Now, I'm going to look at entrepreneurship from 4 key areas. 4 key areas. Number 1 is, I hope I'm not too fast. Please, if you're following me, can you let me know? I want to be sure that I'm not talking to myself and I'm not too fast. Please, can you? Okay. Thank you, Terry. We can hear you from London. From DGLO, everyone. Okay, greetings from Germany. Okay, can you kindly switch on your video? where I am at the moment is quite noisy, but well, let me try to switch on. Let me try to switch on my. Let me see. I'm trying to check the comments. Let me try and see if I can manage and switch on my video. I was actually on the road, but I think I've been able to find somewhere I can just check into and do this briefly. So I'll switch on my video right now. So okay, but if you're following me, I really want you to put something in the comment section so that I can be sure that we are together. Please just let me know if you are following. If you're in the comment, put something in the comment section and let me know that we are together actually. Okay. Don't mind where I am. I just had to pull up somewhere so that we can. Okay, we are hearing well. Thank you. Listening carefully. Thank you. Okay, from DG, thank you so much. From Terry, we are hearing well. Thank you. Can I have 2 more witnesses? Okay, yes, following. Okay, thank you so much. I can hear you, sir. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get ahead. Sorry if it's not really clear. I'm not home yet. I'm not at home yet, but I have to do this for my brother. So I just had to check in somewhere to be able to do this. Let's move ahead. So we've been able to identify out of the 15 things I wrote, what entrepreneurship is not, and I've been able to share with you 7 things. So I said basically, entrepreneurship is 4 things to me. 4 things. Let me quickly mention those 4 things. Number 1, creating prosperity. Number 1, creating prosperity. Number 2, engaging resources. To me, entrepreneurship is engaging resources. Number 3, entrepreneurship is building a system. Building a system. That's number 3. And number 4, entrepreneurship to me is improving the system. I want us to look at entrepreneurship from those 4 points of view. Number 1, creating prosperity. Number 2, engaging resources. Number 3, building a system. And number 4, working on the system. Now let me also say that and looking at these 4 things, you agree with me that entrepreneurship has more to do with mindset. Thank you so much, sir. I can see. Thank you for putting it up. Entrepreneurship is those 4 things. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for following. Now, entrepreneurship, in a nutshell, entrepreneurship has to do with mindset. And I'll tell you this: your mentality is your captivity. I will say that again. Your mentality is your captivity. So most times, someone that was born into a family where the parents are hustlers, they deal in buying and selling. Because they are better than an average colleague who is probably just in paid employment, such people will likely refer to their parents as entrepreneurs. So it's a mindset. But things are actually changing in the 1st century. That's why I say your mentality is your captivity. And let me say it that whatever you look at, you look like. What you look at, you look like. There was a time in my life. Robert Kiyosaki explains the 4 quadrants, and you agree with me that even as let's take for instance, I love children, and probably because of my love for children, I can choose to be a teacher. That's looking at it from one part of the quadrant. I can choose to own a school. That's looking at it from another quadrant. It still has to do with love for children. I can now choose to own different schools, or 2 or 3 schools. And there's another part of the quadrant where I can have money and invest in people that own schools just because of my love for children. But there's one person that is looking at it only from the perspective of being a teacher because he or she loves schools, and because the person now becomes a home tutor, the person feels he's an entrepreneur, he or she is working for herself. So entrepreneurship is wide, and I want us to look at entrepreneurship from those four key perspectives. So if you agree with me, to a large extent, that entrepreneurship has to do with creating prosperity. When I talk about creating prosperity, I mean creating value, creating opportunities, creating wealth. That's what I mean by creating a prosperity. See, if you are into something and 2, 3, 5 people cannot say because you are into that thing you are doing, they've been so blessed financially, then excuse me, you are just self-employed. How many people can look you in the eye and say, wow, because you are doing what you're doing, that is the reason why I earn ABC. That is the reason why I earn 1, 2, 3 for myself. That is when you can say that you are creating prosperity, and that's when you can say that you are an entrepreneur. Engaging resources. Engaging resources has to do with organizing the factors of production and providing a workspace. How much of the factors of production are you putting into place? The land, the labor, the capital, how many more people that are entrepreneurship minded do you have actually working with you? Not really on full time. How many of them are actually working with you and they are earning so much? They are earning so much that because they are earning so much, you are also earning more. Then building a system. I think building a system on its own will take us 2 hours. Talking about building a system on its own will take us 2 hours, because if you are an entrepreneur and you cannot define how you have achieved success, and find it easier to replicate such process without you being physically involved, then you are not an entrepreneur, you are just self-employed. You are self-employed. You have to be able to define how you've been able to achieve that goal, and how you can now tutor someone else to do it at your absence, and the person should be able to still replicate the same level of results. That's when you can say that you have built a system. That's when you can say that you're an entrepreneur. Then definitely working on the system. Definitely working on the system. Definitely working on the system. Okay, let's move further. I'll be talking about there's something that is called the Maslow's law, and I'm sure that quite a lot of us will be familiar with Maslow's law. From the lowest level of Maslow's law, there's something we call the psychological needs. The psychological needs talks about your air, water, food, shelter, clothing. And there's also the safety needs that talks about the personal security, employment, resources, and health. There's also the law of ability. See, the reason why I'm talking about Maslow's law is because as an entrepreneur, you must understand your level of thinking and who or what category precisely you are relating with. If your line of business is relating with those at the lowest level of the Maslow's law, you cannot expect to earn so much compared to those that are the peak of the Maslow's law. So as an entrepreneur, one of the things, don't forget I said that we are in the knowledge-based economy. So one of the things you have to feed yourself with is knowledge. In fact, knowledge is a big leverage. Knowledge is a big leverage as an entrepreneur. You don't joke with knowledge. So let's move quickly. There's something I wrote in my book. I talked about as an entrepreneur, you must understand 4 things. And I'm going to list those 4 things right now. I hope we are writing, I hope we are learning, and I hope I'm not too fast. Number 1 is affection. Number 2 is attention. Number 3 is absorption. And then number 4 is automation. I'll take that again. Number 1 is affection. Number 2 is attention. Number 3 is absorption. And number 4 is automation. Now, I'll tell you this. Affection is where it is passion. You are driven by passion. Thank you so much, Cityscope Africa Academy. Thank you so much for listening to all of the things I'm saying. Affection is where you are driven by passion. But I'm going to shock you. Passion is not enough to be an entrepreneur. You can be passionately stupid. You can have so much passion and you are not smiling to the bank. Passion is really not enough because most people stop at that level of like, oh, I love children. Oh, I'm going to go into teaching. You can be in teaching and be very poor and be frustrated because you think that all you need to do well as an entrepreneur, all you need to leverage on is affection. Affection can help you start, but affection will not keep you going. Affection cannot keep you going. I need to say that again. Affection is good enough to help you start a business, but affection cannot keep you going. At some point in time, you may slide into depression because affection is not enough. Number two is attention. Now, this is where I have problems with most entrepreneurs. When I talk about attention, what I mean by attention is that you are supposed to surround yourself with people that are entrepreneurship minded. You cannot set out to be an entrepreneur and those you take advice from are self-employed, but because they are earning more than you do, you think that we have a very wrong definition of success in the 21st century, where someone who has a car, even though the car is even what was it called? The person took the car on loan, but because the person has a big car, some people think the person is successful. So when I talk about attention, attention has to do with, let me quickly say 5 things that I mean by attention. Number one, associating with people that are entrepreneurship minded. See, don't joke with that. That is where your leverage is. How much of entrepreneurship minded people do you have in your circle? One of the good things that I did for myself is that I made sure that I surrounded myself with people that are entrepreneurship minded. We may not look like where we are going, but the truth is that we are on the same page as far as where we are going. So surround yourself with people that are entrepreneurship minded. One good thing again is that you must have people that are actually getting the results. People that are getting the results. Number two, I said number one, when I talk about attention, I said number one has to do with associate with people that are entrepreneurship minded. Number two is study active startups and companies. Most people that call themselves entrepreneurs have not even done that at all. And all of this information are available on Google. All of this information are available on the internet. Study active startups. How many startups have you studied? I'm talking about Nigerian startups, foreign startups. How many of their histories do you know? See, my friend, myself and my friend were talking 3 days ago, John Obidi. I'm sure some of you know John Obidi. Myself and John Obidi we were talking 3 days ago before his program. He went on live on YouTube yesterday. And then we were discussing about the misconceptions certain people have about Bill Gates. You know, so many people celebrate the fact that Bill Gates was a dropout, but they've forgotten that his leverage lied in his mom, who was actually on the ladder as far as corporate business is concerned. Bill Gates' mom introduced Bill Gates to top people. Bill Gates' mom gave the leverage to Bill Gates to pitch Microsoft and software development to IBM. So many people talk about dropping out of school, but forget that the Bill Gates' mom was his leverage. So how many of these startups, how many of these companies have you studied? Are you just moving in? There's this mindset so many entrepreneurs have, especially in Nigeria, where they think when you think it, you can do it. When you how do they say it? Okay, when you believe it or when you conceive it and you believe it, you can achieve it. Hey, fine, it's good to conceive it. Good, it's good to believe it. But how much information do you believe? Are you just hallucinating? How much information do you have? So many people do not have quality information. There's another. John Obidi told me something, and I was really shocked. He said most of the things we have out there today is manipulative truth. Manipulative truth. One of a good example of the manipulative truth is where people think that Bill Gates is successful because he dropped out from school. That's a manipulative truth. That's just half of the story for crying out loud. His main leverage is his mom. If the mom had not introduced him to pitch to IBM, Bill Gates would not be where he is today as an entrepreneur. So don't fall for half truth. Dig in deep. You have enough resources to research. Research. You should be able to have enough facts and details for yourself. So I'm saying it specifically that as an entrepreneur, study active startups and companies. Number 3, study high growth entrepreneurs. That's another thing I advise you to do. That's a good way to leverage when it comes to attention. A very good way to leverage when it comes to attention is studying high growth entrepreneurs. See, 10 people can be doing the same thing, but only 2 people could be getting the results. Are you envious? For instance, I'm into school business. I own 2 schools by God's grace. One in Ijebu and one in Alakupo in Lagos. And one of the good things that is helping school development is that I've taken time to study high growth school owners. I've taken time to study them. I can take them to lunch. I can take a school owner to lunch, spend as much as whatever to get information. But so many people, in the name of mentorship, they just want free information. These people will not give you facts. And you can't claim to leverage when you don't even know the direction you're supposed to go, when you don't even know where you're supposed to spend your energy, when you don't know the direction you're supposed to spend your cash. I sit down with quite a lot of them. I can mention 1 or 2, Corona. We sit down, we talk, I ask questions. So I'm not making silly mistakes. People in the area where I have my schools think that I'm a genius, but the truth is, I've learned completely from those that are getting results, and I'm only adding 1 or 2 things. There's something about football. I'm sure you've heard that. You don't, how do they say it? You don't change a winning team. I also like to say that you don't change a winning formula, but most people don't even have the formula at all. They just want to do try and error. When some people have gone ahead to do well as far as what you're trying to do is concerned. Let me move faster because of my time. I need to get out of where I am at the moment. Number 4, experiment, execute, and experience. See, there's no other way to leverage your level of attention if you are not willing to experiment. Yes. Have I lost money as an entrepreneur? Yes. But did I gain knowledge? Yes. I've gained so much knowledge and experience. There are so many. See, I know a lot of poor people that have never lost money, but I do not know a high net worth entrepreneur that has not lost money. The only thing such entrepreneurs are in control is the volume or the amount of money they are willing to lose. That's what they are in control of. The volume and amount of money they are willing to lose. But I know quite a lot of poor people that have not lost money. The only way they've lost money is through betting. You go to Niger Bet. What do they call those? My friend Aki Alabi has a Naira Bet. And let me not share some of those secrets though. Let me get back to what I was talking about. Now, number 1, I said you must be able to associate with people that are entrepreneurship minded. Number 2, you must study active startups and companies. That's a good way to leverage when it comes to seeking attention. And you see, I said earlier on that affection is not enough until you begin to get people's attention. Until you begin to get attention, then you are not an entrepreneur. You are not even in the game to make money at all. You are just like every other person. There's a difference between there are 10 pepper sellers in this locality, and people should say there is 1 pepper seller that is doing well among all of them. So you have to be that 1 person. And for you to be that 1 person in that your field, these are the things that you need to do. I've talked about affection. Now I'm talking about attention. So I said experiment, execute, and experience. Let me round up that part with this. Be benefit-minded, not cost-minded. Be benefit-minded, not cost-minded. We have a lot of people that when you hear, oh, there's this training and this training is 5K, the first thing that comes to your mind is the cost. Why is it 5K? Rather than ask questions like, oh, what do I stand to benefit? At the moment, rather than ask real questions, oh, can I things I stand to benefit from this training, how to leave that training a better person. And when they highlight the benefits and you find out that it's none of the things that you need, you walk away. It's not about asking first that, oh, how much is it? Is it not too much? As an entrepreneur, you cannot afford to be cost-minded. You have to be benefit-minded. Very, very important. That is how you attract attention. That is how you attract attention. Now, let me get back to the basis. I said affection, attention, and absorption. I'm already talking about how to leverage. I'm already talking about how you can leverage. Absorption. Now, when I talk about absorption, I need you to understand this categorically, that as an entrepreneur, you have to see opportunities where other people see problems. You have to see chances where other people see challenges. I'll take that again. As an entrepreneur, you have to see opportunities where other people see problems, and you have to see chances where other people see challenges. If you are not at that level of life, then please, you are not a professional and you are not an entrepreneur at all in the first place. You are just not an entrepreneur. You are not a professional. Going forward, how do you go about the absorption part? Now, I'm going to be very clear on this. I've said earlier on that entrepreneurship has to do with mindset, and your validation as an entrepreneur is not all of those 7 things out of 15 things I've said. Your validation lies in 2 things. Number 1, your number of customers. Number 2, the quality of your customers. Number 3, your market share. I'll take that again. Number 1, your number of customers. Number 2, your quality of customers. And number 3, your market share. How much of the market do you own? That's one of the reasons why Nigerians think that Dangote is a monopoly, probably because he has over 60 or 65 or 70% share of the market. That is what makes you an entrepreneur. But let's localize it in your environment. Where I have my school, how much of the market share do I have? How many pupils from survey are in that community? 100. If there are 100 pupils, how many of these 100 pupils are actually in my school? That's when I can talk. That's when I can say that I'm an entrepreneur. Your number of customers, the quality of your customers. Don't forget, I already talked about your mass close law and how so many people deal with the bottom base of the mass close law. So without mentioning words, I would love to go ahead by saying that some of the things that you really need to do to leverage is actually cultivating core entrepreneurial skills. Core entrepreneurial skills. Now, if entrepreneurship is not having capital, if entrepreneurship is not about having an office, if entrepreneurship is not about skill acquisition, if entrepreneurship is not about all of those things that I've said, then definitely leveraging has to do with you having core entrepreneurship skills. Now, let me quickly clarify some certain things to you. Technical skills is not the same thing as entrepreneurship skills. That's where many people get it wrong. Technical skills is not the same thing as entrepreneurship skills. Technical skills has to do with, let me give you a good instance. I'm into plumbing and I'm a good plumber. That is technical skills. It does not make you a good business owner when it comes to plumbing business. I don't know, maybe somebody is following what I'm trying to say. Let me give another instance. Being a good teacher, that I graduated with first class in BEd, is a technical skill. It does not mean that I can run a school effectively and efficiently. So the mistake most people make is that they mistake technical skills for entrepreneurship skills. I hope we are together. Please let me have you in the comment section if you are following me. Please, I want to make sure. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. I really appreciate Cityscope Africa Academy. Thanks for the update on everything I'm saying. I really appreciate. Please, if you are following me and you are with me, please can you just drop a comment on the chat so that I can thank you. We are following. Olaide, Awusoya, thank you for following. Can I have 4 more people tell me that we are following, and we just move ahead to the core entrepreneurial skills? Olaide, Awusoya, thank you once again for following. Okay, Cityscope, thank you for following. Stellar Consulting, thank you for following. I really appreciate. One more person and I move forward, please. I really want to know that we are following. I really appreciate you. Thank you for following. Thank you. I really appreciate. Thank you so much. Can I get one more person? Okay, Deji, thank you so much. Doing good. Thank you for following. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Now let's get back to business. Now, what are then the core entrepreneurial skills? Number one is the entrepreneurship reflex. That's number one. Entrepreneurship reflex. Let me quickly clarify this. There's a story of 2 people who came from the village, and when the 2 of them came from the village, they got to the park, and then they found too many commuters in Lagos, and one of them got discouraged and said, wow, there are too many people in Lagos already. I need to go back to my village. And whereas the second person felt like, wow, if there are too many people in Lagos, then I think rather than look for a job, I should go into transport business. Now, one is thinking like an entrepreneur, while the other person is thinking, permit me to say, quote and unquote, like a non-entity. Now, what do I mean by entrepreneurship reflex? Some things that automatically happens to you without you thinking about it. You are in a situation, how do you think? What triggers you? What comes to your mind immediately? Now, what are the entrepreneurship reflex? Let me quickly mention like 5 or 7. Let me mention 5 or 7 out of what the things you should leverage. Number one is reward. Look at that person that was feeling like, oh, there are too many people here. I need to go back to the village. The other person was feeling like, oh, there's going to be a great reward for me if I go into transport business. So just like I said earlier on, you see opportunity where some other person is seeing problems. So one of the entrepreneurship reflex which you must develop is the opportunity to see the reward in what you're doing, the reward in whatever situation that you are. I'll give a good instance. Once I get into, I love getting into trouble so well. In fact, one of the things everyone around me, my team members, even my wife, the team in which we run the school together, if you ask them to say 3 things about me, I'm sure that one of the things they will say is that he likes trouble. He likes getting into trouble. Because the first thing that comes to my mind is, oh, how can I document how I got out of this trouble and begin to package for other people that are in such trouble and get my money? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. So I don't start shouting at God, oh, why did I get into this difficulty? Oh God, why me? Why not me? The first thing that comes to my mind is, why not me? Why not me? I feel happy. I start rejoicing because I begin to see reward. I begin to see opportunity. Oh, wow. I'm in this right now. Oh, how can you get out of debt? I'm indebted, and the first thing I'm thinking of, oh, how can I get out of debt? Let me start writing every of the steps I took to get out of debt. Then I try to replicate the process. Then I begin to sell it as knowledge. So I'm not shouting or getting into depression because I feel I'm indebted. So reflex. You must cultivate entrepreneurship reflex. And the first one. Now, another thing is vision. When I talk about vision has to do with strategic thinking, strategic planning, goal setting, decision making, using your initiative. That's my definition of vision. Vision is not something you see when you close your eyes. Vision is something big enough that you will not be able to close your eyes to sleep. Vision is not, let me take that again. Vision is not something you see while you close your eyes to sleep. Vision is something big enough that can stop you from closing your eyes to sleep. So it has to do with strategic thinking. It has to do with strategic planning. It has to do with goal setting. It has to do with decision making. It has to do with how much you love to use your initiative. So let me just mention. Let me mention another thing that triggers that I call entrepreneurial reflex is failure. You know, some people fail and they quit, but as an entrepreneur, you fail and you are questioning the process. You are looking at, oh, what part of the process did I get wrong? Instead of dumping the entire process, you are looking at rehabilitating the entire process. Failure is a feedback to entrepreneurs. Why? Failure is a reason to quit to losers. But as an entrepreneur, you see failure as a feedback. I've had reasons to lose money, but I saw it as feedback, as reasons why I shouldn't invest money in one or two things, or reasons why I didn't invest money at the right time. Failure is a feedback. Failure is not a reason to quote or quit rather for an entrepreneur. Let me leave the triggers. There's no time. I'm seeing that this 8:47 already, and I was given like 45 minutes. So I'm like 2 minutes out of my time already. I don't know if you can give me 10 more minutes so that I can try to rush up other things and round up. I don't know if I have 10 more minutes, please. My organizer, please. Do I have 10 more minutes, please?
No problem, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, my brother. So let me leave entrepreneurial reflexes and let's go into other things. I was talking about core entrepreneurial skills, and I said number one is actually the entrepreneurial reflex. Entrepreneurial reflex, very, very important, because when you talk about reflex action, sneezing, your heartbeat, things you are not in control of. So you would have built yourself to a level whereby you can automatically react or act instead of reacting. That will now bring positive things. So number one is your entrepreneurial reflex. Number two is your creativity. You are in a community, everybody is selling foodstuff, everybody is selling beans, for instance. But your creativity tells you that in that locality, some people leave very early in the morning and they come back very late. And they don't have time to decant their beans. What do? You buy beans in bulk, you decant them by removing the dirty ones, and now begin to seal and package and seal pure beans that has been decanted, and they just have to cook directly. They just pour. In fact, look, imagine now adding in the sealed beans, adding salt and what else do they use to cook beans? Sorry, I'm a bad cook. I don't know how to cook. I need to admit that. So in the nylon, in the packaging, there's a small space for salt. There's a small space for curry, and you are now selling it in an estate to people that do not have time to start picking beans. That is entrepreneurship, because you are no longer just an ordinary seller. You are not into buying and selling. You are now into solving problems of cooking. People that cannot sit down to decant beans because they don't have time. So creativity is very important. That's an entrepreneurial skill, not just skill acquisition. Creativity is very important. So number one, I've talked about entrepreneurial reflex. Number two, I talked about creativity. Now, number three, relations. Now, when I talk about relations, I mean, we have a lot of people that have problems with communication. They have problems with communication, and I'll tell you why. We came from a background where, while growing up, your parents tell you don't talk to strangers, and that kind of a mindset. Growing now an adult, you are in a bus. You don't know that you are an entrepreneur. Instead of you to be very free with people, and you should build your. If I get into an environment, within 10 minutes, everyone will feel like they've known me for like 5 years. Because I know that I'm an entrepreneur, and what is most important to me is the ability for people to see me, to love me at first sight, ability for people to see me as a go-to person, ability for people to be able to create, to relate with me, just because they are seeing me for the first time, but they can relate with me. See, when you build yourself as far as relation is concerned, there's this trust. People can just trust you without having proof. They just feel like I love this person and I trust this person. But you're at an event and you're sitting all by yourself. You are in a public bus. You are sitting all by yourself. What stops you from relating with people? Oh, how are you? Can I meet you? What do you do? Wonderful. Oh, can I know more about your business? Can I have your complimentary card? Oh, I'll be willing to introduce my friends to you. Not you talking about what you do and who you are. Who cares about who you are, though? Asking people. See, people love to talk. They love to see everything around the world is leading to depression. So people want to express themselves. As a good entrepreneur, how are you making up how are you doing well with your people skill? With your let me list what I mean by relation. Let me quickly list five things. Five things. Number one, communication. Number two, people skill. Number three, negotiation skill. Number four, networking skill. Number five, team working skill. How do you do well on the team? I have a problem with the 21st century youth. All of them wants to be a leader in the team. Nobody wants to be a member of a team. I forgot to mention that I lecture at Covenant University. And last week I was okay, this week that just passed, I gave some of my students a project, and I found out that almost everybody wanted to be the leader of the team. Almost everybody wanted to feel big, wanted to be the leader of the team, for crying out loud. That's why you find out that so many people that are supposed to be partnering with other people to do well in business are busy setting up their own organization and setting up their own businesses. When you're supposed to be earning 50% of something, you are earning 100% of nothing. 100% of nothing, because you don't understand what relations has to do with. Communication, people skill, leadership, negotiation, networking, team spirit, teamwork, affection. All of this is what relation has to do with. Let me rush up. Okay, this is 8:52. I'm going to round up by exactly 9 o'clock. When I talk about core entrepreneurial skills, I've mentioned two. Let me talk about the third one. The third one is what I call enterprise. I've talked about entrepreneurial reflex. I've talked about vision. I've talked about creativity. Now, the fourth one is enterprise. Are you enterprising? When I talk about, what do I mean by enterprising? I mean, you must have the ability to spot opportunity. Number two, you must have the ability to sell yourself. You must have the ability to sell. Now, for some of us that did PR, I'm a PR professional by his grace. I'm a chartered PR consultant, NIPR chartered, National Institute of Public Relations chartered. And there's difference between marketing and selling and advertising. But entrepreneurs don't even know. You don't even know what you're doing. You say, "Oh, I want to post on my status," and I ask some entrepreneurs, "Okay, what exactly are you doing? Are you advertising? Are you selling? Or you are marketing?" They don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know the difference. And we are in a knowledge-based economy. That's why you cannot really define the feedback that you are getting. That's why you post on your status, and everybody, 100 people view it, but 2 people cannot even chat you to ask you a question, because probably you're just playing around. You just have a graphic. You give it to a graphic designer, and you're not defining what you want the graphic designer to do. Do you want the graphic designer to actually help you use that thing designed to sell, or to just advertise? So all of these things are very, very important when it comes to being enterprising. Productivity is key to you. Competitiveness, selling, marketing, sporting opportunity. All of this is what I refer to as being enterprising. So I think I've been able to say so much. I don't know. I've been able to say 4. Let me round up with the fifth one. Time is not our friend, actually. Let me round up with the fifth one. And the fifth one is what I call ignition. Ignition. What do I mean by ignition? Resilience. What do I mean by ignition? Focus. What do I mean by ignition? Self-motivation. What do I mean by ignition? Courage. What comes to mind again? Sacrifice. Self-control. Assertiveness. Ability to bounce back after a failure. That's what I call by ignition. You are naturally ignited because you have don't forget that number 1 is entrepreneurial reflex. You've activated entrepreneurship as a reflex action. So definitely ignition comes to you naturally. You are naturally self-controlled. You are naturally self-motivated. You are naturally focused. You are naturally resilient. You are, you are naturally a risk taker. Naturally, you love to make sacrifices because you know that the goal ahead, yeah, is much more than whatever pain that you are going through right now. And so let me round off on that note. For 5 things we've been able to talk about, and I've been able to also share with you the Maslow's law. I've been able to share with you things I expect you to leverage in. I talked about your affection, the attention, the absorption, and the automation. The automation is probably the only part I've not been able to really flog well. And a 21st century entrepreneur understands that the process must be able to repeat itself without you being there. That's where the automation comes. That's where the automation comes from. I have a school. Uh, I teach mathematics, physics, and chemistry very well. Now I'm leaving primary, secondary school level. I'm into lecturing, and the process is repeating itself. I've been able to achieve results. I've produced students that had A1. I've produced students that had 340 something plus in JAM. But the question is, have I been able to document how I was able to achieve this process? Okay, then those that I'm handing over to, even though I'm not willing to give it to them at a goal, but have I really understood the process of how I was able to help these children achieve those results? Automation is now you being able to now teach the process and still get the same result via other people. That's really very, very important. That is when you say that you are leveraging. That is when you say that as an entrepreneur, you are making money, you are smiling to the bank. That's the difference between someone that is self-employed and someone that is an entrepreneur. That's the difference between someone that just has an office and thinks he or she is an entrepreneur. I want to believe that if you've not learned anything from whatever I've said, don't forget that entrepreneurship is a mindset thing, and that we're actually in a knowledge-based economy. And in a knowledge-based economy, your mindset is really, really important. It is your mindset that defines how far you go in life. Thank you so much for having me. I remain my very humble self, Femi Emmanuel. I appreciate this privilege and I do not take it for granted. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Femi. It's really be an enlightening time. So just quickly before other things, so we've had the lecture from our guests. Is there any question? Anybody have any question? If you have any question, kindly unmute and then let's hear your question. Okay, anybody with any question? Okay, Stella Kozati is saying, thank you so much, Mr. Femi. You did a great job. So, thank you so much, Stella. Okay, okay. Stella is saying, we'd love to connect with you, Femi Emmanuel. Okay, Olaide Awusoya, kindly unmute and let's have you. You have a question. Olaide Awusoya, are you there? Okay. Okay, you can text it. Okay, Stella Consulting. Yes, you have the ground.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's not a question. I just want to, thank Cityscope for bringing the speaker. I really like. I know, I think I know something about. I know some stuff about entrepreneurship. However, I learned even more today. And I think that's the whole purpose. You don't know everything. Every time other people come up with other perspectives, you learn from them. So I really want to thank you guys. You're doing a great job for bringing speakers like this. And I really also thank Mr. Femi, for taking his time. I know he even had to kind of pull over to do this, and that's really, really appreciated. Thank you so much, and have a good evening. I'm actually calling from Canada, so it's afternoon here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you
Bye.
so much, Stella Kososen. We hope to do
My
more.
real name is actually Samson Awokweji. That's just my small business name.
Okay, Mr. Samson. We hope to do more for Africa to make Africa great and also to build ourselves with whatever we can at every point in time. Thank you so much once again. So, second question from Olaide. Okay, the question from Olaide also I read, Mr. Femi. He said, what is risk in partnership with a registered business owner, especially if you are not registered in person?
Can you take the question again, please?
He said, what is the risk in partnership with a registered business owner, especially if you are not registered in person?
Okay. That's a very good question, and permit me to tell you three things. Number one, even living in any part of the world itself, it's a risk. You wake up, you are in a public bus, you don't even know the driver, but you are just taking the risk because you must move from where you are to where you ought to be. So life itself is a risk. So as an entrepreneur, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what do I want from this? Then number two is, how long do I want to be involved in this? Then number three, where do I go from here? Now, when you have answers to those three questions, you will find that partnering with anybody will not be an issue to you. Then number two, you will not feel used because you yourself have defined. Let me give you a good instance. I was into banking. I won't mention the name of the bank because they are not paying me for adverts. I graduated with a first class, and I was in banking. Got a good job on the day of convocation. Everyone was celebrating. Oh, this guy is a genius. This guy is a genius. But deep down within myself, all throughout my school life, I was doing tutorials. I helped myself out through school, all through school bar tutorials. And then I saw naturally that teaching, lecturing comes to me, but I didn't do anything that has to do with education. So I was in the banking sector, and I was not feeling fulfilled. That entrepreneurship part of me was not just being activated. But you know what I did when I made some money from banking? I wrote application to two top schools that I wanted to teach. Now, those school owners felt like, oh, they were using me. But the truth is that I defined how long I wanted to stay with them. Oh, here I want to stay for 2 years, and A, B, C, D, E is what I want to get out of here. And I was so focused. While they were using me, I was volunteering to do more for them because I knew what I wanted out of the partnership. I knew what I wanted out of the relationship. And I knew how long whatever molestation or humiliation I'm facing was going to last. They think it's going to last forever because they didn't even know my antecedents. Even in my CV, I didn't even put it that I worked in a bank. I didn't even put it there. I even acted like I was, I was teaching in the roadside or nearby school, and I just needed a higher experience. So they felt like they were using me. But the truth is, it was mutual. So while going into a partnership, don't forget those three questions I said you should ask yourself. Why do I need this? What do I intend to gain out of this? And for how long do I want to be in this? For as long as you get those three questions right, then you know your next level. You know, oh, where next do I really want to move up to? I can assure you that partnership will work out for as long as you are purposeful within that limited space of time. Thank you so much for that question, and I hope you really got value from my answer.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a very robust answer. I don't know if Mr. Lide is satisfied with that. Can indicate in the chat box. Okay. So is anybody with question? Anyone with question before we bring everything to a close this evening? Okay.
Mr. Femi Emmanuel, good evening. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Thanks
Um,
for having you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for your delivery. It was top notch. I really enjoyed your session. Quick question for you. You mentioned something about networking, where it is better that one of the attributes of an entrepreneur is to associate himself or herself with fellow entrepreneurs.
Yes, sir.
Now, would it be better to have a fellowship with people in the same industry, or just general entrepreneurs as a body, as a whole? What say you, sir?
Oh, thank you so much, sir, for this question. And permit me to say that I appreciate you being on this live event. I've been following since you started with us, and honestly, I must appreciate you, sir. Now, going to your question, sir. I need to explain from practical experience that one of the reasons why I've been able to take, for instance, as a public speaker, one of the reasons why I've been able to rise so well in the ladder is that I understand the reasons why I'm relating with people. Now, there are three kinds of people that you need in your life. I'll be frank with that. There are three categories of people you need in your life. Number one is the sayers. Number two, the senders. And number three, the spenders. I'll take that again. Sayers, senders, and spenders. Now, I'll quickly take that. The sayers are people you probably they are very loyal to you. You get them on social media. You get them as people looking up to you in the community. But the truth is, when something negative happens to you, they will be the first to criticize you without even asking you a simple question. They really will not even know. They don't want to know your take. Somebody, as an entrepreneur, somebody goes to the social media to say your product or you are not trustworthy. All of a sudden, this bandwagon of people begins to announce that you are not trustworthy. They begin to share it. They begin to like it. It goes viral. And funny enough, if it were something good also, it will also go viral. They have no stake. They are less concerned, but they are just there as sayers. But you know the problem we have as entrepreneurs or as leaders is that we judge our acceptability from the angles of sayers. Now, the second category of people is actually the senders. Now, these are people that are a little more loyal, and they have what they want from you. They look up to you, but they have what they want from you. Now, we as leaders must now carefully calm down to see what we can also get from them. It's not everyone that look up to us. That's one big lesson I've learned about life, is that not everyone that look up to me is actually does not have something to add to me. In fact, I've been able to move further in life because I saw those that are looking up to me as a 50-50 relationship. That, what also can you bring to the table? So I'm going to now bring it into the professional perspective, but I want to first explain these three categories of people we need in our life. Now, the third category of people are the spenders. Now, these people, they either spend their time or their resources. Their resources can be money. Their resources can be their connection. Their resources can be their time. But once they are with you with any of these, once they are with you on any of those three things I mentioned, then I can assure you that you have made it in life. You can just go and start celebrating. So now, what do you do as an entrepreneur? Now, as a startup, the first thing to do is to have 70% people outside of your industry and 30% people that you are looking up to in that industry. 70% of people outside your industry and 30% of people that you are looking up to in your industry. Now, the reason why you need 30% of those that you are looking up to in the industry is because those that you are competing with will begin to see you as ahead of them because of the caliber of people that associate with you. Now, the 70% of people, there's something called the blue ocean strategy. I think one of these days when my brother brings me back, I will come and share with us the blue ocean strategy, how to think outside the box and affect the market. Let me give you a good instance. When Picnic was in Nigeria, and the Picnic was only affordable for the rich because they had the liquid that was very expensive. But when Cowbell came into Nigeria, they applied the blue ocean strategy and begin to package powdered milk for 10 naira, as low as 10 naira, because they had a different category of people they wanted to reach out to. They had a different category of people. So that's the blue ocean strategy. So now having 70% of people outside your industry helps you to see the leverage of the blue ocean strategy. I will give you a good instance. You now begin to see from the perspective of how they need your material and how you also need them, rather than just looking at it from the level of competing with those you are in the same market alone. So I advise that you do a 70% outside your terrain and 30% those that you are looking up to. Now I'm going to round off this question on this note. One good thing I love to say again about networking is that it is good to be a market player, or it is good to move with market players, but understand that you are good being the least among the best than being the best among the least. Once you get that clear, then we are good to go. It is good to be the least among the best than the best among the least. And that was why I said earlier on that it is important that you are associating with 30% of people that are doing well in the industry, but 70% of people outside that industry, so that your creativity comes up and you begin to look at how you can collaborate to earn more, rather than just looking up to people that you have to be competing with every now and then. Thank you so much for that question, sir. I really appreciate you, sir. Mr. Kolade Ayoride. God bless you, Daddy. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Your answer is spot on.
Thank you so much, Daddy. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. That was explicit. Any other question in the house? We'll bring everything to a wrap this evening. Okay. So in the absence of any other questions, I want to appreciate each and every one of us for coming on board this evening, although some people have left. And Mr. Sampson has also left. I would have loved you to just give him, well, I will try to see if I can connect with him later on so I can link him up. So because he said he would like to connect with you, but he's unfortunately he has dropped off the call. So but we'll try to reach him.
I will give you I'll provide his contact. Myself okay. Too, I would love to contact Mr. Femi Emmanuel.
Okay, so, no problem, sir.
For both of us, I will get in touch with Mr. Femi.
Okay, Daddy, no problem, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. So, thank you so much. So we do have this class every month, and each time is communicated with a unique guest at every point in time. Those of us that register will get the mail. Some of us will get the Zoom link details already if you have registered earlier with us. So just keep a tab on your mail. You get a mail from us next month concerning the next session and the speaker that is coming on board. So I know myself, the principal of Cityscope Africa Academy, and we are on all platforms as Cityscope Africa, and we also have an app which is Let's Go Nigeria app. It's a tourism app which you can explore for education and tourism, or maybe you want to visit some place, whether in a state, Lagos State, you want to go anywhere and you are stranded, just download the app on Google Play or Apple Store, and then you can check out the features of wherever you are. There you find a place to relax and cool off. So we are also on all platforms. Let's Go Nigeria, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also Twitter. So thank you so much, everyone. Once again, I wish you all a great night rest and happy weekend. Wishing you also a happy new week in advance. Thank you so much once again. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.